Hey guys, what's going on? How are we doing? So, yeah, I think we're live. So, guys, welcome to today's track feedback session. If you are watching the stream on YouTube, Instagram, or anywhere else, you can join the call directly via the link, which is in the description. If you want to get feedback, you got to be on the call to get feedback. Now, guys, for everybody that's new here, the way this works is it's on a first come, first serve basis. So pop your links into the chat and yeah, we'll take a listen. If you have additional information that could be helpful when taking a listen, please do give that as well. And yeah, we will give you some feedback. So I've got some tunes already from Michelle and Seb. If you've got anything else, get it in the chat. Don't sleep on it. We have a hard stop as well at 9 because I have another call and I can't miss that. So yeah, like live in the moment and get some feedback right now. Cool. Okay, so up first, we've got, I believe this was, sorry, I'm just going back. This was your track, Seb, I believe, right? Cool. Let's give it a play. Let me know, give me a thumbs up if you can hear this. Cool. What's up, Chris? Okay, nice intensity to it. Oh, wait, there might be a setting on my sound card I need to do. Can everyone else hear it? Does it sound okay for everyone else? Okay. Chris, if you have some tracks for feedback, pop it in the chat. It's first come, first serve. Okay. That vocal is very loud. The mix on this is it lacks a bit of the warmth and power in the bass that you could have that would really make this stand out. But like the drums are sounding quite punchy. Like on this synth sound, there's not really that warmth and expression you need on it. Pretty cool. But yeah, the synth sounds are quite kind of thin and digitally. They need a lot more warmth and grit, I would say. In my opinion, the drums sound good though, I would say. But yeah, the rest of the sounds need that power and warmth. Pretty cool. It kind of feels like this vocal is placed on top of the track as opposed to within it. I think it could be mixed better within it, like a bit of like turning it down a little bit, but also a bit of more reverb or something just to help it have a bit more depth and fit within the track more. That sound is very loud as well. So the more these sounds are coming in, the more it feels like the balance isn't quite right here. Like you ideally want the kick and bass to be the loudest elements. So kick's the loudest drum element. The bass is going to be the loudest like melodic element or synth-based element. There, but in comparison to the rest of the drums, kick should be the loudest, but also the drums need to be pretty loud as well. Like the drum mix sounds fairly decent, but then like the rest of these synths are like really, really loud compared to everything else. Is Michelle the only person with the problem that they can't hear? Can everyone else hear this okay? Okay, Chris can hear it fine. So yeah, there's like quite a lot of stuff going on here in terms of the parts, and I think like you could strip it back a little bit or have things playing, because yeah, there's a lot of like kind of conflicting ideas in it in a lot of regards that are semi-clashing. I think you could strip it back a little bit and let some things take the limelight a little bit more. That's pretty cool. I think you could make this vocal, like way more fucked up as well. Like pitch it down a few semitones and, like, I don't know, just make it a bit more trippy and weird. Because it sounds a bit more like a sort of meditation kind of vibe in terms of the vocal, but the rest of the track is pretty energetic and aggressive and weird. So I think you could make the vocal match it a little bit more. And that transition as well, I think you need more tension and release there as well, just to like really emphasize that and play with a little bit more of the break, because this track is essentially just like balls to the wall energy like the entire time. I think you could have a little bit longer or like a bit of respite from the groove, play with a bit more tension release. And here, like, you've kind of done this before already. So yeah, like, so a lot of what you did in the first drop section you've already done here, and I think you need to continue to evolve the track further so that there's more progression, or you could just make it a shorter track. That could also be a better idea. Perhaps, I think maybe a bit of both, bit of column A, bit of column B, but try always take your listener on a journey. Like the vocals are cool, they're changing, but I think like the instrumental needs to also progress and evolve further. Maybe adding in additional drum parts or something, having more sophisticated drum arrangement, that could help. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Like, it's very hectic and trippy track. Pretty cool. More warmth in the synths, you mean saturation, or are you talking about? It could be both. So saturation is going to bring in more harmonics, and potentially more warmth, but like with the EQ, it feels like maybe they're high pass too high, or they just lack a component. You might need to layer it with something, I don't know. But yeah, there's a lot of things you could do, but yeah, generally warmth comes from anywhere from about 150 up to about 300 to 400, but then the bad part of warmth is muddiness, so you need to be careful. But cool, yeah, nice track, very vibey, very unique. Cool. Okay, so Michelle, let's take a look at yours. This is pretty quiet. Okay. So, I would say that the mix down on this and balance needs a lot of work. You don't really have any low end power or bass at all. So try balance it. So there's like in the academy, there's the kick and bass mastery and mixing mastery. You'll find that very useful to get the correct balance here, because it lacks that low end power. It's very top heavy and erring a bit towards the harsh side. So you need that big bottom end to fill out the space in the lows. Also, as well, the drum groove is a little bit kind of start and stop. I feel you need something like a little bit more sophisticated in terms of like more elements, but also like it kind of goes boom, tss, tss, and then stops. But you kind of want the groove to continue, right? You can play with stripped back drum grooves, sure, but I think you need some additional elements in the drum parts, and it does feel like quite robotic and on the grid. So a bit of swing, a bit of dragging notes slightly off the grid could help it feel a bit more natural and human. Okay. Yeah, it's got some, like, definitely got some potential, like, from a musical perspective. I would say with the pianos as well, feels like they're playing, mostly, like, triads in root position. There's, like, a sus chord in there, I believe, or an add 2 chord in there. But the chords are very close together. I think you could space them out more using a more interesting voicing, so pitching a part of the chord up an octave to make them feel a bit more spread out. The piano also lacks a bit of like grit and flavor to it. I feel it feels a bit stock. So what you can do is add a bit of saturation or something like that to make it a little bit more gritty, but you have to be careful with pianos, otherwise you'll just distort the shit out of it and it'll sound awful. So you got to be careful with that. I think as well from like a sound selection perspective, like I think you could use some more kind of edgier sounds perhaps to make it feel just a little bit more I don't know, like a little bit more like flavorful or something. I feel like the sound selection could be improved. Like you've got some that like transition there like needs a little bit of work to get it to where it could be. And like the piano melody as well is also playing in the same register as the chords. So if they're in, you can really tell with the piano, because if you're playing the same melody within the where the chords are, it just sounds like it's on top of each other. But if you were to pitch the melody up an octave, like or whatever it was, like it would completely open up the mix. I feel you need some additional supporting elements in this to make it feel a lot more fuller and fatter in terms of the production, like some background pads, some plucks or something, rhythmic plucks to help define the rhythm a little bit more. But as a core, like, groove to it, I would say, like, you've got some cool idea. Yeah, Ableton Live Lite, yeah, that's, having 8 tracks is a little bit of a problem. It's very limited what you can do. You can start like freezing tracks and like consolidating them into groups like with the drums, but you have to be very thoughtful about what you can use. That's why it's nicer to have Suite or standard, at least standard, so that you have unlimited tracks. But yeah, you can try out Suite for 30 days because it will revolutionize things and you have way more effects and stuff that you could play with. Can you submit a track view that's not completely finished? Of course you can. You can submit whatever you like me to listen to. It doesn't have to be fully finished. It can be just a loop, an idea, whatever. But yeah, Michelle, it's cool. I think you probably would be like reaching the limitations of Ableton Lite with 8 tracks. So it will be a massive quality of life improvement to have unlimited tracks, so that you can like flesh out the composition more, because it's very hard to have a full sounding house or techno track with just 8 tracks. But yeah, definitely cool. Got some things to think about for the next steps. But yeah. Okay, gotcha. Well, it is possible to get educational discounts. Like you can get them through us if we partner together. But yeah, there is, of course, a limitation to light, and there are ways around it. You can, as I mentioned, like consolidate the drums into one group or one channel, and that would mean you could flesh things out, but then it means you commit that to audio. But yeah, Reaper is, like, I know a few people that use Reaper. That's free, so you could try that out if money is an issue. There's a lot of free third-party tools that you can use that are also great as well. And in fact, actually, GarageBand is free. It comes with all Macs, and Grammy Award tracks have been made on GarageBand using GarageBand stock stuff only. So it is not what you have, it's how you use it in a lot of ways. But yeah, with 8 tracks, it's very limited what you can do. So I would recommend checking out something, like if you can't afford Ableton, like try get something that's going to give you more possibilities and flexibility, ideally. But cool, keep on at it. Okay, up next, I think this is Roy. Let's give a spin. I think there was some text as well. Okay. How do we come up with track names? That's a fun question. I think there's nothing wrong with this track name, to be honest. Kidding. This is cool. So yeah, it's a little bit top heavy. It could do with a lot of low end power and present, especially in drum and bass. You need the bass there. It feels like it's high pass or just not loud enough. I don't know what it could be, but yeah, the sound selection is really nice on this. Definitely more sub, but it's just, I think the general balance, like, I don't know what you've set the bass to, but like you need to bring it up a lot, so it's like powerful, because I can just about hear it. And also, like, I think the mid bass is probably in the wrong register. You have it in like the range, but you want it to be in the and then it'll be super big and beefy. So pitching it down an octave could help, but also having way more sub and just bring it up a ton, because yeah, it's one of the most important elements in drum and bass. It's meant to be overwhelming in drum and bass, Roy. Well, of course, with a pinch of salt. But yeah, it needs to be a lot louder. Yeah, that transition as well, like some reverse things just to tie it over, could help. I think you can start introducing some rhythmic components here as well to... I mean, you can hear the drums filtering in, but like a shaker or something, just to define time a little bit. Like, something like that, just earlier on. Yeah, these like pads here are really, really loud compared to the rest of the track. So dial them back a bit and bring the bass up. But yeah, here as well, I think you're lacking that like main hook component that's going to make the track really stand out. You had like the thing or whatever from earlier, but I think you need some, like at least that, or ideally something that's going to really stand out and catch the ear and make the track memorable. So like a bit more of a like upfront melody or something, or like a hook. It doesn't have to be a full melody or whatever, but yeah, like it's going to, like especially during after this break, you need that front and center and having a lot more stuff going on. Yeah. So yeah, have this part way earlier, and then you can do the instrumental stuff later. And you could like develop a bit more like bum bum ba dum ba dum. I don't know, something like that. It could sound quite cool. Just make it a little bit more rhythmic, a bit more syncopated, and you could make that into, because it's a nice idea. And often the way I compose hooks or melodies is something, I'll start off with something quite simple and then just add in a few more notes, make it a bit more rhythmic, and boom, there you go, really catchy melody right there. So yeah, you could have you can have even that becomes a lot more like sophisticated. Just same notes, add some more rhythm to it, and it can be a lot more interesting. But yeah, pretty cool. I think, yeah, definitely bring that bass up a ton, because this is drums. It's not yet drum and bass. So yeah, I think it needs a lot more power and warmth, but very cool. Like nice track, good sound selection. I think just play a bit more with the tension release in the breakdown particularly, and yeah, love to see how that evolves. And in terms of track names, I generally like I just call it random stuff. I try think of the vibe of the track that I'm setting, and I look up a word that describes that emotion in Google and look for synonyms. That's usually how I do it. Or if I'm producing with a friend and we're always like talking smack to each other and like joking around in the studio, and I usually come up with like some stupid inside joke with us and call the track name that. So there was I'm trying to think what. Yeah, there was a track we made with my friend Tom, and during the studio session we were talking about this track that got released on Ingenia Deep called Golden Retriever. Sorry, not Golden Retriever, called French Bulldog by Luttrell. And I would just say go listen to the track. That will all you need to know. And we were talking about this track, and because it's interesting, you could say, especially for Ingenia Deep. And we then decided to call our track Golden Retriever, but we actually just called it Aureum because that's the Latin word for golden. So yeah, it's like a little inside joke that only we know from that studio session. But now all of you guys know, so there you go. So yeah, cool. All right. Just checking the time. Okay, we're going to have to make this one quick, but fortunately it's a short one, and this was from Chris. Cool, let's check it out. And Michelle, it's 30 minutes. The kick here is very buried. It needs a lot more thump and punch. Yeah, afraid you are probably too late, Tony, because I have a call in 5 minutes. I'm afraid. Okay, it's just more of an idea. It's nice, that pluck melody. This is very nice. Yeah, the strings are a little bit stuck, I would say, and also the attack on them isn't quite right because it kind of, I don't know if they're too short or too quick. I'll tell you in a second, but it doesn't quite fit the groove of the track. But yeah, I think you could use a more sophisticated sound, like a synth layer maybe. Also, as well, I'd recommend not putting your tracks publicly, especially with things like version 2 in. I'd put them private. Yeah, this is nice, man. Yeah, I think the musicality on it and the composition side of things really nice. The mix down is a bit all over the place and definitely needs tightening up, and you need way more drum punch. I think you need a lot more clarity in the mix. But it's definitely a good starting point for sure. A bit more grit on the sounds as well, a bit more distortion and shit like that. This vocal is very buried. You really want the vocals to be very up front. I think as well, you could do some more sophisticated drum groove as well, like some offbeat percussion sounds as well, just to flesh it out a bit more, like something like that. I don't know. Some ghost notes in can really help. Cool. I'm probably going to have to pause it here, guys, because I do have a call in literally 2 minutes' time. Less than that. Yeah, Chris, I think got some very nice components to it. It definitely needs cleaning up. I think you could use some more sophisticated sound design, perhaps. And the Sakura pack actually is amazing if you've got Diva. And through me, you can actually get a 20% discount. So, yeah, check that out. What was I going to say? Cool. Some great tracks today, guys. We'll be back next week, so if you've got some tunes to share in the pipeline, hop on next week and we take a listen. But if you'd like more in-depth feedback and regular feedback, we do sessions in the accelerator where they're hour long. Well, they're not even hour long. We do it until every track is done and spend 10 to 15 minutes on every track. We had to rush this a little bit because there are a few submissions today, but time is scarce. So yeah, if you want to learn more about the accelerator, and it's not just feedback we do, but that is a core component of it, there is, I'm going to pop a link into the chat. There you go. And you can book in some time with me or Tim to talk about taking it to the next level. We don't work with everybody, so we need to make sure you're a good fit. But, the people that we do work with tend to get to the point where they can finish at least a track every 2 weeks, if not a track every week, and get them consistently out there, and we can get them to the next level. So yeah, guys, if you want to book a chat with me, click that link pretty soon. Otherwise, I will see you guys